Did you read?
All right, we'll call the policy committee meeting to order.
Can I make a motion to nominate Heather Ingham for chair? Second.
All in favor? All right,
All right,
turn it over to you, Chair Ingham.
thank you. So we'll review the minutes from March 8th, 2023.
I just had one note.
Mhm.
I wasn't here, so I'm not gonna vote on them, but I did read through it.
Mhm.
And let me find it here. On under 3.4, under the IKFAA policy, it says Dr. Baker instead of Mr. Baker. So unless Jim Baker got his doctorate, that's correct that. But other than that,
Which one?
look at 3.4. It says Dr. Baker asked about whether time is extended at graduation with this option.
Oh, yeah.
So I just happened to pick up.
I forgot I was on the policy committee. Hey, I don't remember this. Oh, yeah, it says I was excused.
Yeah,
That's why I don't remember this.
So do we want to
We
make,
can just accept it with the modification of changing it from Dr. Baker to Mr. Baker, and I'll just abstain because I wasn't part of it.
and Maura wasn't here that day, so are we able to?
Can we approve it with two?
No, I think,
Or do I just, do we just accept it because,
I think you do because there's been a change in the board.
okay.
All right, so you're making a motion to accept the minutes with the change of from Dr. Baker to Mr. Baker in 3.4.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Thank you. I'll get a kick out of that, though.
I know, right?
All right, so we have quite a few policies to review. We have 4.1 KFA, public conduct on school property. Any questions or discussion?
I know there was a question about why the policy was being revised.
I was gonna ask if we could, do a brief non-public under the auspices of safety.
Okay. Mr. Angel?
So I request we go non-public for RSA 91A:3 Roman numeral 2, letter, whatever. is
Under the safety.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I have to roll
Oh,
call.
roll call, Don?
Yes.
Maura? Myself, yes.
Thank you.
Take your bag. All right.
You're back.
We are back, and we are now moving to 4.2, KI, visitors to the schools, staff, and students. I think, any discussion?
I know that so we're talking about this whole, like, any students under the age of 18, or any students over the age of 18, sorry. Did we get legal? Okay,
Yeah, we're good. I fixed, so what happened was it pushed two policies. I had to add another one tonight because it was linked and we didn't notice that, but
Okay.
Will Phillips knew.
Yeah.
So he said, if you're gonna change it there as well, which is why.
So any student under the age of 18 who needs to be dismissed early must have a parent or guardian. Jamie had emailed some of his, and I agree with him. I don't know.
I'm pretty
Staff?
sure they already do that.
The
Don't they
staff
log
do that,
themselves
Barb?
in and out? Don't they just scan their tags when they come in?
I did not, I
I've
did
never
not,
I have, that's why
staff don't scan in and out, do they?
They
Yeah.
scan in and out with lobby guard.
yes.
Oh,
they
right,
do.
so we know if they're attendance in case it's a
Right.
fire.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
they already do that, but they don't have to log in like we log
They
in.
just,
No,
They
it's
just
just
scan
a
their, they just scan their key card when they walk in the door.
That's right.
okay.
So I
It
did
is a
already tell
process.
Jamie that's what I thought
Okay.
it was.
Because I was like, if they have to go through the process, I have to go
That's what
through.
his thought was too. He's
No.
like, that's ridiculous, but I was like, no, I'm pretty sure they just scan their key tag
So
when they
you-
come in and it logs them into the system. And then like if they have to leave the building, like if it's somebody that is moving from building to building, like a district-wide person, it lets you know where they're at. So you're not like, oh, we had a fire or we had some major thing happen. Was that person here or are they in another building? You know, because it's logged in lobby guard.
Okay,
So.
that's good to know. Is there any other questions or concerns with this policy?
I'm sorry, so did we come to an answer on the 18-year-olds?
If they're 18, they can dismiss
Yes.
themselves.
Right? 'Cause Heidi has a comment about,
Yes, that's all resolved.
okay,
Students who are, if you see under, I put in bold, under the age of 18.
right,
I'm just
but what
still-
about the 18-year-olds?
Yeah, that's still, I have concerns over that, because
Yeah,
it's like, well, then what 18-year-old
If
that
you're
doesn't want to
18
be
and
in
you're going to
school?
school, do you not have to have a parent? It's an honest question, I'll
Well,
say
that
how
was
it should
my-
be.
You can sign yourself out at 18.
So at 18, you can leave the
Guys,
building.
there are all kinds of, I checked with Will Phillips,
Yeah.
I talked to Heidi, and everyone agrees that if you're 18 years old, you can sign yourself out. It's just like my son, he's going to college in the fall. If he signs himself out from school, I'm gonna find out there's going to be consequences. So my wife has, I don't even want to say this, she has a power school set up, so it dings her if he's not in school. But the school isn't gonna tell him, no, he can't sign out. He's
Are
18.
parents still gonna get a call if the kid isn't in school?
I don't think legally they are adults.
I don't know the answer to that
I don't know when
question,
they're in
and
the school setting, and like, that was my question originally, was like, when they're in the school setting, do the parents still have some rights? Because I know in Mass they do. Like in Mass, you can't, even when you're 18, you can't call yourself in.
I didn't go that deep on this.
Yeah.
I just called Will and said, can we put under the age of 18 here, because it seems to be below the group, and he said yes. So I didn't go there.
Right.
So it's a great question, I don't know. We have to ask, Jen how they handle that.
It goes deep. Because you can have the student freeze out your parent out of like even Alma.
Yeah, you can, but look,
It's like a river.
once a kid is 18 years old, it's a great question where the
I
lines
think
are.
it is.
You know, and it only lasts usually for a couple of months, and then they're done. And at that point,
Depends. I mean, you've got kids that turn 18 at the beginning of the school year.
yeah, typically, it lasts a couple of months, but there are some, like my youngest won't until,
Two of my three ninth grade, two of those ninth grade,
Yeah.
ones that are ninth grade, October, November.
oh yeah, okay, so that 5, 6 months,
yours are
yeah.
really-
Yeah, those are really early,
Molly,
yeah.
we
Yeah.
held Molly back, so she'll be 18 going into her senior year.
Yeah, I was
Probably
too.
have a lot in that grade.
I was
Have a lot in
October,
that
you're right, I
grade.
didn't even
Yeah.
think of that. So,
So it's just at what point, like, I mean, you're
So
still parenting the kids, they're
Well,
still living under your
look,
roof, you're still feeding them, you're still like,
we don't have to make it 18, I just went with what Heidi asked.
yeah, I know, and that was my question originally when this came, I think, for our first read, was, at some point I saw this, and that was my question, is like, but at what point are we taking away?
So I think so just from working in the medical, social work field, as soon as they turn 18,
But in school, I don't, that's why I'm asking, because I know in Mass, when a kid's 18, it doesn't matter. If they're still enrolled in school, living in their parents' home, the parent still has to call them out. Or
Well, that's
call
what we're
them in.
debating right now, is that what you want to do? Because the original read on this policy was, any student who needs to be dismissed early, comma, must have parent or guardian permission.
I
I'm
guess
fine
we
with
need to
that.
know what the state law is.
No. The policy was written by Will on the state law. I asked Will, can we make it 18, because I thought that's what
Okay,
y'all
so
wanted.
originally it
Oh, so the
wasn't.
state law doesn't
Again,
specify.
what's bold is what I added because of the feedback.
Okay.
Remember, whenever we do policy, just a quick policy
Well,
101.
I know, I think Heidi was the one that asked for it.
Yeah,
I don't know that anybody else asked for it.
That's fine, I just researched, can we do it?
Right.
The answer is yes, you can do it, no, we don't have to. That was my message, but remember, when you read these, if it's struck through and it's not bold, it's the original language. If it's bold, I added it, or Phyllis added it, or an administrator on the group. And if it's bold and struck through, it means it was suggested and then decided not to go there. So I'm perfectly, I just want you to know, I'm perfectly fine with saying any student who needs to be dismissed early must have parent or guardian permission.
I guess I want to know what have they been currently doing?
They've been doing that.
That,
But wait a minute,
They
if
haven't
you take
been
that
here
out
18,
though,
you
just
can
So
sign
then I
yourself
think
up.
we need to go back to the way that it was before.
otherwise it says students attending grades PK through 8 must be dismissed by parent or guardian. So if
Right.
you take that out, then that means a ninth grader can leave.
No, what it means is that a ninth grader can leave the building without their parent there, but they still need parent permission to do it.
So like,
So like I can call and,
so
I can call and
emailed
leave it
in
out.
and said, hey, Jade has a dentist appointment, at 2:00, I'm picking her up from school at 1:30. They sent her a pass that morning for her to come down to the main office at 1:30, so I didn't have to physically walk in the building.
All right.
She just scanned her pass at the lobby guard because she already had permission to leave.
Okay.
It's, that's the difference.
All right, I didn't
We're there.
realize
K
that.
through 8, you have to physically go in and get.
Right, okay.
But 9th up, if you
Okay.
say you're gonna be in the parking lot to pick up your kid at a certain time, your kid then has permission to leave the building, and it's on you if you're not there and you can't go somewhere else.
Okay.
So I struck it out and put it back to the way it was. I'm sorry if I made a mistake. I thought you guys wanted to do that, but I guess I misunderstood.
I think again, I feel like it's been a while since we've met. We haven't met since March, so I'm a little like fuzzy, but I just want to know legally what, if there's a, like legally, do they have rights as 18-year-olds? Like, I mean, there are going to be kids that are 18 and be like,
Well, I know, like, kids on IEPs, they can sign their own IEPs when they're
Exactly.
18. They have those rights. You know,
We can have Heidi talk about what 18-year-olds have for rights, right? Like Heidi deals with it all day long. And it's not black and white.
I'm sure,
Like
no.
this is totally your decision. As a board, you can choose.
I just think,
Why did this one come up? Was that the only,
I don't know, might have been just like a policy review that it was part of a normal
Yeah.
packet review.
Which one is it?
it's KI.
KI.
Yes, it's part of, yes, it's part of the package.
It's a required policy that the NHSBA they send us 2 times a year, a big pile of stuff that they want us to consider. It contains 3 different levels. Optional, mandatory, no, what is it? Is it optional,
Recommended.
recommended, and mandatory?
Yeah.
Optional, recommended, and mandatory.
but
And this
they
is,
were not the ones that had under the age of 18 in there. We added that.
no, we added that.
Then
So
I,
to go back to what you were asking, when they came up with it, they did not have that
They did
in
not.
there.
so then I think we should go back to the way that it was before, because I do agree, like, parents should be notified. Like, if a kid leaves, the parent should be notified.
Right, if you look at the comments, Heidi was just asking him to do this, and you guys are saying, no, we'd rather have it be the parents'
If we take
decision.
this out,
And I'm fine with that.
we're essentially saying, if we take this out, that if you're 18, your parents still does need to
Yeah.
emotionally,
Yeah,
which,
which honestly, with my 18-year-old, I like.
Well, and that's it. Some 17-year-olds are gonna take that and run with it, and,
They're not gonna graduate high school.
well, that's it. I don't want kids not graduating because we gave them too much freedom
Sure.
and take the parents out of it. I
So
don't
then-
like that.
If I may, the next policy was tagged as because it can be removed from the agenda tonight because I linked it, because Will pointed out when I asked him about the other one, that if you change that one, you have to
So
change
JHC,
GHC,
we'll
you
remove.
can just remove it tonight. Right, honestly, you could just, you can remove that one and just move forward. And what we say tonight is, we discussed in policy, the guidance director's questions, and we decided that we would like 18-year-old students to have permission to leave. I think that's fine.
Okay,
I'm
any
sorry,
other?
guys, I thought you all wanted to
No, that's all
go
right.
with it, but you
But-
said.
It was also a previous policy.
It's been a while, yeah,
Yeah.
we're getting back in the groove.
So any other discussion on KI? Would we like to make a motion to move for first and second read?
I think it's first and second read,
Yeah.
because it's already been to the board
I was
once.
gonna say, I think that's how, I didn't,
Yeah.
why I asked the
Move a
question.
motion
for
for second read.
second read, yeah. I'll make a motion to move it for second read.
I'll second.
All in favor? Motion is moved. All right, we have removed JHC from the agenda. JLCR emergency forms.
So I can give you the.
I don't know what I was looking at.
Yeah, if you look at page 2, you can see the health office supervises the administration of vision and hearing screenings. They wanted to take out yearly because it isn't always yearly. And they said, please place an X in front of the screenings that your child may not participate in. And the reason why is that I talked to the folks about this. This is a good one. The way it's written now, they have to collect this for every single kid and check it And if you flip it, they only have to take care of the ones that bring it in and don't want it. Everyone gets it, so it's opt-out instead of in.
Okay.
So it's gonna save them a tremendous amount of paperwork.
Has it always been, this is a silly question, has it always been just Tylenol? I thought it was Tylenol or ibuprofen.
So, yeah, I think I feel like the Tylenol, aspirin, ibuprofen.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
where are you
it's-
reading that? I was
Under the
on,
medications listed, there's no more ibuprofen.
Ibuprofen causes ulcers, so I think
Well,
they.
Tylenol is horrendous for you. I won't give it to my kids.
no idea.
So it causes liver damage, so I don't. I mean, for kids
It's
that
also-
constantly.
Ibuprofen causes
Right.
ulcers and
Yeah.
Tylenol causes liver damage.
Right,
Like,
so I'm like, well, I'd rather let my kid have the choice. Is it because we got a kid going down to the nurse's office all the time? And Tylenol's 4 hours and ibuprofen's 8 hours, and one does more for inflammation, the other does more for.
I don't know why they got,
fever.
yes.
Well, they left that as a opt-in instead of out, so that's interesting.
Yeah,
It always has been
Is this
all
the
good.
opposite of what you just said?
No,
This-
the top is what they
you
want
have
to
to opt
change.
out.
I'm acting on their ask.
I would push back on this because I would want the top to match the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna
I'm
be
gonna
very
agree
confusing.
It's
that
gonna
they
get
should
too
match.
confusing.
And I think if they want it to be a do not, instead of having this little, my child may.
All right, I'm gonna put not in there.
participate, I think it needs to be a bold. If you do not want your child to participate in the following,
Yeah.
please mark up the box.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
But
definitely
typically-
do the same way.
And they used to have
I
an
don't
all,
have
they
it
used
right
to
here.
have an all of the above.
They do. It says all medications listed.
Oh,
below.
yeah, sorry. Ugh.
But I do question the whole like, Tylenol, ibuprofen, aspirin. It used to say like a bunch of different stuff in there.
Okay, so we'll have to deal with that later, Matt, thanks, we'll talk about it later. If, I'm just gonna text Phyllis and try to,
I know none of us have edit rights. Do you have edit rights, Heather?
No,
No.
I have to,
Yeah, none of us
request
have
it.
Phyllis doesn't trust me.
Wonder why.
thanks.
Just a comment. Is there, I think at one point, we were looking into new software, I think this was before I was on board, I heard something about new software that would carry all of this information together,
Oh.
so that each year, as a parent, you don't have to fill out all of, like, and then you have to do it times, like, have to do it times 3 children, like, name, address, blah, blah, blah. We don't have to get into that discussion, just want to throw it out there.
Oh,
It would be nice
it would be
if-
great.
If we had something, and you might, and honestly, I think you get, like, for the nurses, they'll get better feedback, because by the time I'm on the third one, I'm just not pretty much like, whatever.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not even giving you real answers.
I used to photocopy, I used to fill out the generic information for each of my 3 kids, photocopy it, and then just fill in the first.
Oh, you can't do that now, though, because
You
it's
can't
all
do it now.
online.
it's all in Alma.
And I think that's what surprises me, if this is all through Alma, it's already
You
in a
create-
software system, why can the software system not figure out
Or can it populate like
the next?
last name, I mean, you know,
Permission to edit
address,
JLC
phone number,
-R,
email addresses, like
Right.
all the,
So I can,
if you
we have
select
an
that
amendment.
the child has the same last name, same parents,
Oh, it's
why
okay.
can't it just populate into that, so you don't have to fill out?
Matt, can we get on that?
I'm sorry.
So what we can do is, we
I'm
can,
looking up a statute.
we can,
Oh, okay.
we can,
We're just saying like the forms that we have to fill out every year for our kids, like why can't they stay pre-populated?
oh, that's a Christine question.
Like the health forms and the, when you have multiple kids, it's a lot of freaking work.
Yeah, I
I
know.
think it's all, but I don't want to say that.
But even really in here, I mean, my entire, I'm having kids in the school system, it's always been the same.
No, I know, but now it's 2023.
Right, yeah, I would
It's
think right
kind of
now we
annoying.
should have, it really should.
We're completely paperless at my place and I did not think that was possible, so.
It's possible. I'm just trying to get in, so I will adjust this to, as soon as Phyllis gives me the edit rights.
Do we want to move? So if we make the changes for everything to be opt-in versus opt-out versus opt-in,
I'm okay. with
Okay,
it.
so what was the language that you wanted under the, vision and hearing part, Dawn? You said to put it in bold.
I was just saying, you know, I think it needs to start with, or be in bold, like, please do not administer the following tests on my child. or something to that effect. Like-
Well, that's why they put the not in bold, but I can
Yeah,
put the
but
whole
it,
thing
it
in
needs to
bold.
be like the first thing, or like a separate line, like,
Yeah, because that knot is
you
very
can't
small.
see it,
and
nobody's gonna notice, it has to literally be the first thing, like, if, before it says the health office supervisor needs to say.
Okay, so we'll do it this way, how's this?
Or that needs to be a separate line right above, like, you need to like, yes, exactly, and put that in.
I got you, I'll do dramatic here. How's that?
Much better. And then I would kind of do the same thing for
Right.
below. Please place an X
Right.
in front of the
That's what it
medications you do not want administered. Or I mean,
Well, because you have this option of all medications
Mm.
listed below.
Matt, just say what you're thinking. You're thinking that you can't change it to opt out?
Yes. The regulation says non-prescription medication shall be given only with written authorization of the parent
so then we won't,
and or guardian.
That's why they didn't change the next one.
yes,
They changed this one, but not the next one.
okay, that's
And I
fine.
think on that child may not.
So can we change
capitalize
the next
not.
one?
No,
We
you
can't.
just looked at the statute.
But, okay, so then can we not change the first one?
We can change the first
I'll
one.
bring out
I think it's
testing
more about
information.
consistency. I think that's our bigger thing is consistency. So if one has to be done one way, can we make the other one that way?
Well, it already is, and they're saying it's a problem.
So what is the problem? Are they
I don't
too many
know.
people opting in or too many people opting out?
I think that they don't get the forms back, so they want to give the vision.
It's all an
hearing
Alma.
screen.
How do you not get the forms back?
Um,
If it's not completed, you get a big error message and the school calls you and says your forms are not complete. So that's my question is, are they getting too many people opting in?
This is for an exam and.
Or do they want
Yeah.
more people to
Oh,
opt
okay.
in?
Why don't we invite the nurse to the next meeting?
I think that's the better question.
I was
You know,
doing,
let's
Yeah.
stop
I was
with
doing medication.
I thought this was pretty straight ahead, but it's really not. I thought this was pretty straight ahead,
I know.
but it,
I guess without knowing what they're trying to, because I don't understand that they're not getting the paperwork because you have to, or big error messages come up and you start getting calls from the schools. Through Alma.
Medication to me is like when you put it, like you're consuming it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think we're in two different places now,
Yeah.
Matt, so.
all the nurses asked us
But now,
is, could we take out the word yearly, because they don't do vision and screening every year?
Fine.
And can we make it so that when you check the box, that it's not?
So my thought is,
Maybe it's
They're
just the way the
trying to-
forms are coming back.
or maybe it's they're trying to get, do less of them.
They're trying to what?
Do
Well,
less of them, because everybody's used to just maybe checking the box.
I don't know, I don't
know.
they sent it over, I didn't talk to them much about it because it didn't feel to me like it was a critical ask.
Right.
I was just supporting the nurses. I mean,
Right.
frankly, I really, they deal with this every day. I trust them. We have solid nursing staff. So I was like, this is pretty straight ahead. I
Right.
kind of feel, I feel like we're going down a rabbit hole. Like if the nurses are asking for it, just let them.
I would like to know why it's only Tylenol on it personally.
But that's not what they're asking.
No, I know. Before
They're
I
asking a
approve it, I
simple
wanna
thing.
know
Can they
why.
add the word not and take out yearly?
I don't feel like, is this exactly what it is right now?
I can totally see from a consistency thing.
Well, let's invite a nurse to the next meeting.
And the whole knot,
Because it's not like they're gonna do it this week, right?
You know, I
Like,
don't
they do
like-
it
I
in the
don't-
fall.
personally like the word not, because I'm skimming through it and I'm saying, yes, my child can have screening, my child can have blah, blah, blah. I'm not reading not. Right, because I'm doing this for the thousandth time. I
It's
trust
just
you,
about good
do
point.
what you need to do for my children, I trust you, you're the nurse, not me.
Yeah.
So, because I trust the nurses and I have good judgment, I'm gonna check and say, yeah, do whatever
Right,
you
I, that's it,
want.
I think I think it's gonna go backwards, and I think they're gonna put an X there saying like, hearing and vision screen, yeah, give those to my kid, but then they're actually opting out.
Yeah,
That could happen too.
because that's,
That's a really
I
good
can
point.
tell you right now, that's what I'm gonna do.
I-
As a parent, that is what I will do.
Well, then let's just invite a nurse to the next meeting.
There's just so many forms you fill out online, that I think we just kind of are so used to the way they are, we
So-
just scan. We
So
don't-
you guys are filling this form out online.
Yeah.
We,
You're not filling this form out in paper form.
No.
but it's a PDF now. So you go into Alma, it pre-populates, you fill it out, and then you save it, and then you upload it. It used,
That explains why, all right, now I get it, I just had the aha.
And
Let's just
when,
invite the nurse.
yeah, and then when, if they're not getting these filled out, they can't do any of this stuff. Like, they can't give your kid medicine,
Right.
they can't, like, it's all of it, it's not just. But
Right,
I
so
mean,
I'll put
if
it back
you
to the way
have
it was
fill out
then.
an emergency form, or you get calls from the school, trust me, I accidentally
Oh, yeah.
forgot to hit
Yeah, yeah.
upload one time.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I started getting calls from the school because my,
Was
Kid
it real
wasn't-
people calls or was it not?
no, real people.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, if you don't get those
They don't get
answers,
them in, they call you.
the assistants will call you,
And
be
you
like,
get emails too.
and your kid can't start school.
Right,
They're like, Molly can't come back to school tomorrow if these forms aren't filled out.
right.
I have not gotten to that point yet.
I got.
No, I haven't gotten to, but I
But my
know
kids
because
have
I have.
definitely been in school and it took me 3 or 4 weeks of school. School had been going on for 3 or 4 weeks before I probably actually did them. I was never threatened that my kid couldn't come to school, but
I got,
I'm gonna
email
ask
and a
about
call.
I'm gonna ask about,
So we,
ibuprofen.
I was like, oh, I thought I did that.
so
And
we
then I
are,
went in and I hadn't uploaded it. I filled it out, but I hadn't hit the
Yeah.
like submit or whatever portion of it. So it was there, but it wasn't there for them to see.
Yeah.
It hadn't
All right.
come through on their side of it.
So I put, let's invite the nurse to the next meeting.
okay,
We're just being awful.
No, it's fine. It's all right. No, it's great questions, actually. In the consistency thing, I didn't even, and that's why we have to have a policy committee. No one, this is for your community, right? And if it doesn't serve the community, it doesn't work. So that's why we can't, I mean, I really thought this one was easy.
Right.
But it's, you're right. I'm not even arguing. I agree. Like, I think we need to talk about it. And I tagged in there, why not ibuprofen?
Right.
I don't know,
all right,
Dawn. I don't know why. That's a great question.
so we're gonna table this to the next meeting.
So we pretty much tabled everything.
All right,
Yeah,
so
policy was a pain
Except
tonight.
KI.
Yeah.
We're-
4.5.
Note to self, assign
well, I
policy to
think this
Christine.
next one we need to do, right?
JCEB Administrative Personnel.
Oh, yay, you saved the best for last when we had 5 minutes.
This is,
Oh, we have 15.
but this is basic, this is the one basically saying we don't have to have 2 board members, at a meeting or at an interview. And also that we don't have to bring you don't have to bring 2 candidates to us.
Yeah, and,
So this is, I believe this is an important one for us.
Yeah.
I mean, if we
well, they're
like it,
interviewing Friday, so we want to get going.
well, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, unless there's something, I just think it's important if we're okay with this, that we do get to this, we do a first and second read tonight so that it can be moved forward.
But this is only for principal, this is not for assistants or. The school board will interview the finalists for principal position.
I'm adding something to this right now.
Because I don't want to have to go, like, I just don't know if we have to interview all the assistants and,
No, you really don't, Heather.
like, I don't need to micromanage the principals or the superintendent.
You want to interview the business administrator?
Yes.
We do, yeah.
Yes.
Run interviews.
Yeah, well, read the whole thing, 'cause it
Board
says
members
that.
Whenever possible, no less than 2 building administrators and no
Well,
office
read
staff.
it before you talk.
Building administrators.
Sorry.
E1,
I-
typing in there, what is E?
One central office administrator should be on
Okay.
the committee. So there's staff members, I realized the way I wrote it didn't read like clean. Office.
I think SAU staff is very different than school, like, building staff.
Right, right, right.
Is there a window open?
There's gotta
No,
be-
I turned on I got the power to turn on the HVAC.
Okay, well, are you trying to freeze us out?
I'll turn it off.
Like, it's 50 degrees outside, Matthew.
Well, it was hot in here.
Oh my
when I
God, you
came
called
in
him
here.
Matthew, that's hilarious. So does that make more sense under first round interviews for central office? Would be 2 school board members whenever possible. What I was trying to do is create a circuit breaker. If we need to move fast. And 2 of you aren't available, and we need to do interviews like this Friday, we don't want to lose candidates when,
So do
like,
we
you're on vacation in July.
Yeah.
One of you shouldn't have to come back,
I
so that
mean,
we
do
don't
we
lose
need to put
candidates.
in here a minimum of 1? Because this
So
way it's
Jamie
like,
asked that
2
question.
school board members, oh, he did.
He did in one of his emails. He said,
Well,
I don't think
I
I saw
mean,
that.
whenever possible, it says 2, so.
2 whenever possible, but does that give somebody the flexibility to say, oh, we don't need any school board members
Yeah,
on
okay.
there?
I would
That's fair.
I would do a minimum of 1 school board.
Darn it, I'm thinking like, gee,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Okay.
You spend too much time with them.
Apparently.
But no, I
I
agree
thought you was
because
a peanut butter.
but I agree.
All
All right.
Now I'm wondering about you. I'm like,
I know.
I don't know.
I
Can't
agree.
even put a knot in a
But I
nurse's
agree, like,
policy.
we're not always gonna be on the board, so, right,
So
even though Tom doesn't wanna hear
this
that.
says the finalists for central office director positions. So does that mean that the school board is not interviewing one candidate? Oh, wait, no, one.
That's number 3.
So is
it
it-
assumed it's a principal or a central office person?
Okay,
it does, says for central office positions, business administrative directors. What about principals?
that was the one up top.
That's the one.
And
So let me walk you through it. It'll just take a minute. Let's go to the top. So the first part is literally just the statement of purpose. I pulled it out of 3 different policies and made a hybrid that worked. Then the statement of the policy kind of explains what's going on. You know, you gotta apply, we have to screen it. And then I put the following, which is for building level leadership positions, which includes principals and assistant principals. And it could include the guidance director as well, just to be thorough. And then the first thing you do is we have a building level interview. That will be the one where the questions aren't as flexible. I don't agree with Jamie. We don't need to put anything about questions in here. That's up to us,
no,
right? Because if you put it in policy, then it becomes rule.
yeah, no,
And I agree with him that that's what we should do in practice. Ask about the resume. That would happen at the next
policy and
level.
procedure are different.
Exactly.
People sometimes get confused.
Exactly. Thank you. That's
But I,
exactly
so I
right.
think though, up here, you do need to change 2 board members whenever possible. I think you do need to change that to a minimum of. When we were talking before,
A
we were
minimum
the
of
second one, but now we're back up to the principals. So can you change that as well?
We can do whatever we want, but the problem is there have been times where we have been in a hurry and I couldn't get 2 school board members.
So I would
Right,
do a
that's what I'm
minimum of,
saying.
Right,
a minimum of one
one.
school board then.
Oh,
Two school board members whenever possible.
Because you, I would
And
say
then we
you
put in
should
there
change
a
it to the
minimum
central
of one.
administrator.
Thank you. I didn't hear. Yeah, I got it. Minimum of
One school.
1 school board member.
Because I just think it's too gray, where it's like whenever possible, we want to, but it's okay if we don't have any.
Okay, is that better? Did I
Yeah.
fix it?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. That's way better. Yeah. That's what I meant.
I think you need to finish typing it, or at least I can't see.
Oh,
RS.
As member, no, one.
no, but a
member.
minimum of 1 school board member.
Okay, yeah.
2 teachers, 1 parent, 1 building administrator.
And then the same thing on the next one.
Yeah.
School board members
I
whenever
think
possible,
Tom's
but a
changing that.
minimum.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, wait, let me read this for a second because I have a thought.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go a little crazy here.
Why is that font off?
I don't know, that was really weird. No, for Pete's sake.
Pete's not here.
I know. He's meeting with me twice as long, and I said that on camera, you can tell him.
I don't know, I'm doing a pretty good job, like.
Yeah, really, I know.
Dragon is,
Oh, you
John,
like
I
this?
had
I
a
know.
record for policy meetings last year. We used to be done in like a half an
I'm
hour.
a pain in the butt on policies.
Well, you think of things that, I don't even know how you think of that stuff sometimes. All right, so no less than 1 school board member, and then I put in parentheses, 2 school board members whenever possible.
Yeah.
2 teachers, 1 paraprofessional, and 1 building administrator. If
Well,
we're doing.
The only problem is,
Do you put a member of the community? No. Okay.
the
Yeah,
only
we
problem, the only
I don't
problem
know.
here is when you do that is because no less than 2 teachers, well, can we have 6?
No, I was thinking no less than, you might want 4. It's
But
up,
you want, I
but,
thought we were trying to like pare down on.
So the
number.
larger interviews, we want more.
sometimes I might have 6 and have 2 rounds with 1 person. But what I wouldn't want, what I'm trying to avoid is a minimum I'm writing this for the future. Because my process would usually be bigger. What you don't want is to have the superintendent, the BA, and a favorite assistant principal hire a principal. You want to avoid that. You want to always ensure that at least 2 teachers one or two school board members if you can, a paraprofessional, one of their colleagues, another building principal, and possibly a parent. We should put parents on.
We have parent community members already in the interviews. We should acknowledge that.
I just
What
get,
if you don't get a parent to step up for
Well,
it?
one parent or community member. You always get parents to step up, always, for these interviews.
I have never had a problem getting a parent.
No, I know, but
I just get nervous that for the future, we get 6 teachers that want to be here, 3 paras, 2 building administrators, and 5 parents. How do we limit it?
So
Now we
we
made
could,
it
it's a
open-ended.
great question. We could put that right in the policy that says,
Interview committee will be.
interview committee will be decided at the discretion of the superintendent.
Yeah, I still get nervous because you're not always going to be the superintendent.
Oh, I appreciate that compliment.
So I would almost rather go back to
She's planning your exit.
the way it was. No, I'm thinking about my nephew who's 5.
I love that. That's the best answer.
Like,
All right, so what, how do we
can we just
manage that,
change it
Dawn?
back to what it was?
Okay.
And then just put that caveat in there, like we had it, with a minimum of 1 school board member. We just kind of go back to what it was, because I just get nervous for the future.
2 school board members whenever possible, but a minimum of 1 school board member.
So does that mean it can't be more than 2 teachers though?
I thought we were trying
It
to pare
doesn't-
this down so we don't
you know
have
what, it-
16 people interviewing one
No,
person.
I was trying to make it so that we could be flexible if we can't get enough.
We were also,
So
we
the
were
goal
making.
for me was to be like, if you guys aren't all available, I can get one of you and still run with it.
And the reason that I wanted this policy looked at is, I had no problem with the first and second round. It was bringing every assistant principal to the school board.
Yeah,
The
'cause-
fact that I had to rearrange my schedule, and we all had to rearrange our schedule multiple times for emergency non-publics, I trust the principals in the SAU staff to hire assistant principals. I think the school board should be participating in SAU staff, principals, and the superintendent. But I trust Jen and Matt and, Dr. Childs, to.
So
to
for
hire their
example,
principals.
Memorial's gonna hire a principal. I have 1 grade level teacher from each grade level, that's 3 people, someone from special ed and someone from guidance who want to be involved. In my opinion, I would rather have the person sit through 2 rounds with 2 smaller groups than exclude any of those people. But I wouldn't want them to hire them without at least these people. That's my thinking. Because remember, when you're looking at union-based workforces, you're hiring someone to run the building, the more buy-in you can get early on, the better. So I was thinking of this as a minimum for flexibility when we get in a pickle.
I've always liked the process.
I don't know, I think sometimes you can make something so airtight that not that this is vague, but I think you could argue in the future either way. But I think if we make this more, because I think as it's written, I think for me, it was the school board thing. I didn't want to have to keep waiving policy if 2 of us couldn't do it. That was really where I was after, and like what Heather said as well. I think that this is a little open to interpretation for 2 teachers or 3 teachers, where you draw the line. I get that it's vague, but I think if we nitpick at this too much, we might be boxing ourselves.
What if
into
we
a
did
corner.
this? Dawn, this may be a bad idea. I'm saying it openly. This is what I think.
Well, now you're gonna end up with a ton of people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
I
that's,
think it's better the way it was, because it's saying, it's gonna include 2 teachers. Okay, but you know what, we're gonna have 3. I don't,
let
it's
the
not saying
superintendent
there's
kinda-
a max, it's not saying you max out at 2.
but it gives you the latitude to say 2 if you want to.
Right.
I like that.
I just feel like this gives us a little bit more
Matt, can you just tell them all we'll be right there?
flexibility instead of, like, it does give you a little bit of open-endedness without it being so open-ended that people can go crazy with it.
I agree, and I think that what we're trying to do, any
I think
policy,
we're all trying to get to the same place, but just different ways.
yeah, well, no, I agree with that. I just was thinking of it. I put the other, on the next round, I put 2 school board members whenever possible, but a minimum of 1 school board member. So Dawn, I think you're right, it comes down to like, how are people gonna look at it through different lenses?
Like, this is what it has to include. You have to include this.
Yep.
It does give you some flexibility, but when you put in there the words.
Okay.
No
I'm
less
glad you like
than,
it.
then it's like, oh, well, but now we can have 20 teachers show up because it's, I don't know, I just feel like it makes it a little bit.
I'm fine with it
I
this
just
way.
think the school board, I just think the school board one needs to be.
Yeah, I adjusted it in the bottom one as well.
I think that's fine.
One more question.
Yeah.
So with the, interview for the central office, Christine didn't go through an interview process, did she?
She did, but remember Christine was already employed as the principal of the middle school.
Right. Well, she started out as an assistant.
She started out as an assistant,
Then she went to principal, then she moved to central office.
so she was interviewed at
It
Lang.
was an internal promotion.
Yeah, but
So does it need to say anything about,
Internal promotion.
I'm just saying, if I'm reading this, this is saying that Christine would be subject to this.
correct,
And I'm just saying that's not how the process actually works.
Right.
Maybe we should change it for initial hire.
Oh,
oh, that's a great idea.
So in the statement of the policy, anyone that's initially hired to the.
No, I think that is in practice. I think, and I think that the way to do this is to set it up this way, so that then the board, so I can come to you in non-public and say, I'm happy to follow the process that's in policy. Christine is an employee here, she's a principal, we'd like to move her to this
yeah. We want to
position.
transfer, we can transfer.
We did a transfer.
We did transfer.
We did a
didn't
transfer.
open it to hire.
You didn't waive the policy,
We
but we did an
did
internal transfer.
internal transfer, so we didn't go through the process of posting the position.
And the board has the right to do that, but I want you to retain that power. I don't want to give
That's
any
how
out
we
of
were
that.
able to kind of circumvent
Right.
that.
No, I think that's the perfect word. She was a transfer.
Yeah.
Great question.
Okay.
I mean, other than changing it to a minimum of one school board member, I have no other concerns with this policy.
Okay, great.
John,
Yeah, I'm good.
Lauren?
I think she hesitated before she asked you.
Wait, or were you motion to adjourn?
I'm asking if there's any more further discussion.
No.
All right, because we still have more on the agenda.
We're gonna
Yeah,
have to
but-
stop.
We have to stop,
Oh,
unfortunately.
So we have to, I need a motion to move this to the board for first and
Can I
second.
make a motion to move this to the board for first and second reading?
any other discussion? All in favor? So we will have to move the striking of the three others to the next policy meeting on June 21st at 5 o'clock.
Well, do we have to strike those, do we have to agree to strike those now because?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you have to, the striking is just to get rid of them so that we can adopt the new one. That's easy.
To create this new.
I make a
policy.
motion to strike policy CD, GCEB, and GCEBR.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
So it's a two-for thing, adopt the new one and strike the old
So
one.
we struck those, and then, policy meeting is adjourned at 6:02.